Always my favorite time of the year, to say the least, when you're starting the season with your new football team, when all the new players have arrived. You're finally putting your team together, starting to build your team. Every year is different, so we're excited to get started for this 2016 campaign. Let me first open by saying that there has been no better time in school history to be a Ragin Cajun. With the things that we have going on our campus right now, not only in academics, but in athletics, it's an exciting time, not only for our student athletes, but for our coaches. The resources that we have at UL, at University of Louisiana right now, are the best that we've ever had. And the opportunities that we are giving our current student athletes to be successful are the best they've ever had. Not only are we building new facilities, we just completed, our $30 million athletic performance center that helps all student athletes. That to me is I would say, one of the top facilities in the country. It's not only helping us prepare our current student athletes, it's making huge dividends in recruiting. We've also obviously added new soccer complexes, a new soccer complex. New track complex. We bowled in the stadium. We're starting on a new baseball stadium. So the things that we're doing with our facilities are really taking our program to another level. So many people have had so much to do with that. Academically, we have had the best academics that we have had in the history of our school. As an athletic department, we're a 2.91 grade point average. Academically, our football program in the last 2 years, we're waiting for this year, has won the Sun Belt Conference highest team GPA award. And so academically, we're succeeding. We have the highest graduation rate of any program in the state of Louisiana. Our facilities are increasing tremendously. So Dr. Savoy, our president, and Scott Farmer, our athletic director, should be given a lot of credit for the progress that our program has made from top to bottom. And I'm very proud to be a small part of that, along with the rest of our coaching staff and the rest of the athletic department coaches that work very hard with every sport at UL, and especially all of our student athletes in every sport that come every day to work hard to represent the Ragin Cajuns. With that being said, I want to first address our 2016 season. Like I said before, an exciting time to be a Ragin Cajun. We just came off 2 years ago, we just came off 4 straight 9-win seasons, 4 straight bowl championships. We were only one of 2 teams in the nation to do that, with us in Oregon. Now, last year we had a little bit of a rebuilding year. Had a couple of setbacks. We lost a 3-year starter at quarterback. We lost a lot of guys that had eventually went on to NFL careers, and just struggled throughout the year finding continuity at quarterback, and didn't have the season that we had hoped. That's when you get into the offseason, you start trying to address issues, trying to correct things, trying to find things to make you a better team, and we think we've addressed every issue. One, it was defensively. Last year we did not cause any turnovers, and that was a big issue. We think with the addition of some defensive linemen we've brought in, with our secondary, with Savion Brown, who's a first-team all-conference player returning, along with Simeon Thomas, who's finally eligible after sort of being on campus for 3 years, been wanting to play him. Now he's ready to go. We really feel strong about our secondary. We think our defensive line has more depth than ever. And then we think with Otha Peters leading the way in the middle of the pack, we've got a chance to be an outstanding defensive football team. Special teams-wise, last year going into the season, we had a kicker who had never kicked in college in a game, and we had a punter who had never played American football. Now they sort of return as veterans, and so our kicking game is going to be much better. We're excited about those guys. And then you get into offensively, we feel like we've answered a lot of needs there. First of all, though, Elijah McGuire returns for his senior season, the only active running back in the country with 3,000 yards rushing, 1,000 yards receiving, and I think he's primed to have a great season this year to lead our football team. Quarterback position has been one of the main buttons of topic, obviously. Jordan Davis, who finished the season out last year playing the last game and a half, comes in competing against Anthony Jennings, who just transferred from LSU. Jordan, we feel like, is one of the most talented kids we've had. He's an upcoming sophomore. He's got a great skill set. He knows our offense, just lacks a little experience. Anthony Jennings comes in with about 14 starts under his belt in the Southeastern Conference with a wealth of experience, but doesn't know the offense. And so it will be some great competition as we get into camp to see those two guys compete, make each other better each day. And so I'm excited to see where they can take us this year. They've got a lot of weapons to work with Elijah McGuire, Al Riles, Gary Haynes, and really deep but young, talented wide receiver core. Our offensive line, we feel like probably is our biggest offensive line we've had, and we've had some pretty big offensive lines, but we like our offensive line. We like our depth. We're excited about getting the season started. And with getting the season started, we have a great measuring stick with Boise State coming to Cajun Field for our first home game of the year. It'll be a great measuring stick against a program that's been very successful in one of the top group of 5 programs in the last 10 to 15 years. 4 years ago, after that 4th straight bowl win, we really felt like we were in position to maybe almost get to that next step where they were competing year in, year out in some major bowl opportunities, breaking that top 25. And now, we want to get back to climbing that ladder, and this will be a great measuring stick with Boise State coming to town. It doesn't get any easier after that with a very tough McNeese State team that finished 11-0 last year in the FCS. Then we open up conference play the next week against South Alabama. So our first 3 games at home are the first time in school history that we've played 3 straight home games to open the season. So that's a great opportunity for our football program to be able to come out of the blocks really quickly to get off to a great start. So we're obviously very excited as we get the season started. Coaching staff-wise, Coach George Munoz takes over his offensive coordinator position. He's done a great job this spring. You will see some changes offensively to our team and the things we're doing. Some things will remain similar, but for the most part, it is a total difference in philosophy. So I'm really excited about the direction of our offense. And then defensively, the entire staff returns from last year, and so I'm really excited about the way our defense is going to play. I think we'll be much better defensively. So it's an exciting time to be at our university. It's an exciting time to be a Ragin Cajun, and I know our fans are excited. I'm expecting some great crowds this year, especially with the home schedule that we have at Cajun Field. 2 nationally televised games on ESPN this year, with a 3rd being when we go play Georgia. That is yet to be determined if it'll be ESPN1 or the SEC network. And so some great exposure for our university, some great exposure for our community, and for our student athletes. And so with that being said, I'll open up any questions. That conjures up a lot of emotions. I've never been 4-8 in my career as a head coach, and so never plan on it again. But you never listen. It's hard to get to the top. They say it's harder to stay at the top. And when you're winning 9 games every year, we just hit a speed bump that we didn't see coming. But we felt like we knew it was a little bit of a rebuilding year, losing Terrence Broadway, losing some of those guys, but we felt like we could overcome it, and we just didn't get it done. And lost some close ball games that could have swung either way. Didn't get a lot of breaks. Didn't win the turnover battle. And that was one of the biggest reasons we felt like it was because we were -11 in turnover ratio. If we'd have been +11 in turnover ratio, we felt like that we'd have probably been real close to the season we had the year before. If it is that close, each quarterback might have a role to help our team in some ways. But, you definitely would like to go in and find that starter and somebody that can grow in the offense. Because both quarterbacks, regardless of who gets a starting job, are going to have to grow through the system because they've never started in our system. And so I want to give them a little time to grow into the system. And they're going to have always have some lumps early. Going to overcome that, learn from them. But the rest of our offensive guys are going to have to pick their game up and help carry the load. I don't want to put it all on the quarterbacks when we've got guys like Elijah McGuire out there. And so for these quarterbacks, they just need to make sure they do a great job of getting the ball to him and let him make plays. I think invaluable. He's played in front of over 100,000 just about every Saturday, and so I don't think he's the type of quarterback that will get flustered. I think he will bring some experience. I think he will be able to perform well in big ball games because he definitely have a lot of those under his belt. But he also knows he's got to compete for the job, and him and Jordan both know this is a wide open competition. We know Jordan Davis has got as talented of a skill set as any quarterback we have had. And so I'm anxious to see how it shakes down. I'm very glad we've got two really good quarterbacks rather than one.
How hard is it for somebody like him? Not only did he not have the spring, he didn't even have a lot of the summer.
Right. That will be the challenge. For him, though, being a senior, the maturity level, the experience that he's had, and he's had to learn more than one offense there at LSU. They've had different coordinators, and so he's familiar with changing offenses, and he'll have to do a little extra film work, a little extra study time. But also we need to keep it simple enough at the level that he's learning it to where it doesn't keep him from being able to execute and make plays. And one of my high school coaches told me a long time ago, and I try to live by this, a lot of times, more times than not, you want to think players, not plays. And so we want to make sure that we give him, Jordan, the opportunity to make plays, and obviously Elijah.
If Anthony does become the guy, how do you think the trade-off is not preparing for 2017 beyond?
That's a good question, but for us, throughout the year, if he became the guy, you'd still have opportunities to get Jordan in the game, to get him more experience. And then next year, Jordan would be a year older and ahead of where he is right now. But to me, that's still too much speculation. I don't want to anoint Anthony the job. Jordan's worked too hard in the offseason, been there all spring, and this is an open competition, and it'll be a fun competition. I think our kids have confidence in both those guys, and man, it's just going to be an exciting camp, and we're looking forward to an exciting year.